a mental health counselor and social service provider, Ms. Camille. Can we give her a round of applause? Next, we have Ms. Beverly Thompson. She's the VP of Communication and Public Affairs at Kaiser Permanente. You ladies could just have a seat wherever you are. Next, we'll have Ms. Kenni York. She's an author. She's also a sexual awareness advocate, and she's Miss Lithonia Plus 2014. Last, we will have Miss Tatnai Whitehead. She is currently approaching her master's for mental health counseling. Mental health, and I know it's marriage and family counseling. She is also one of our committee members, and we wouldn't have been able to be here today without her, so can we please give her a round of applause? Each lady will share an experience with you, share their background with you, and give you a little story to encourage you and motivate you to a promising and successful school year. And then afterwards, you'll be able to ask them questions, and they'll be able to help you out. Also, we'll have a one-on-one session. If there's anyone you would like to speak to, they'll be taking turns at the communities table. So if there's nothing that you want to ask in the public forum, you'll be able to ask them in private over there. Everyone okay with that? Yes. Yes. All right. Camille, we'll start with you, and we can just pass the mic.
All right. Good afternoon. Like I said, my name is Camille Colson. I grew up here in Decatur. I'm originally from West Palm Beach, Florida. I moved here maybe in like kindergarten. I was young, so I feel like I'm from Decatur. Can y'all hear me? Yes. Okay. I went to Southwest Decatur High School. That's where I graduated from. However, things weren't always easy. My mother was a single parent. I saw the pamphlets on the back table for Spelman College. My mother was a Spelman student where she met my father. Then she got pregnant her junior year. So here I came. So my mother dropped out of school and we moved back to Florida. So that's why I grew up for a little while. But she didn't want me to stay there. So we came to Decatur. Things were a little different. Being from South Florida, that was my first time seeing stairs. So I was really excited about, living in Georgia. I thought it was a big city. And things were a little tough. We stayed with my aunt and uncle. Then when she finally got things together, we got out on our own, maybe middle school, high school. That's when things kind of shifted and changed a little bit. Faith has always been a big part of our lives. And she was working for a company, and she really didn't feel that things were being done ethically. And she couldn't feel like she could continue on with the way that they were trying to do business and practices. So she quit her job. But with my mom quitting her job, that left us with the company car that we had, gone. The house that was mortgaged through the company that we were in, gone. So my end of sophomore year, junior year of college, high school, we were homeless. And when I say homeless, we were homeless. I was sleeping at a friend's house, in the back of the cars, at the church. We were members of New Birth, so we had, a lot of friends. And we would wake up in the morning, shower at the gym, she'd take me to school. So things were really rough, and it was kind of, wearing those two-faced. I had to be at school. I was president of everything. I was in marching band. I was in Sisters in Actions, which is a girls' community service club. I was on the debate team, president of the debate team. I was in the chorus. So everyone at school knew me as somebody, who had everything together. College was, not a choice. But my grades started to fall because I didn't know, what I was going to eat for dinner, where I was going to be sleeping this night, who I was with. So, things got a little rough. But I knew that whatever happened, I had to finish school. And my focus at that time was, it's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. You're going to have some challenges, but you have to find the motivation within yourself to make things happen. Because everybody's not going to pave that way for you. Nobody's going to always hold your hand to get you through it. And in situations like that, I didn't want everybody in my business. So I wasn't reaching out to counselors at the school. I wasn't reaching out to teachers. Very few of my friends knew what was really going on. I graduated high school. Yes, my GPA dropped a lot, but it was like, I graduated with maybe like a 3.1. which back then was just enough to get the Hope Scholarship. I applied for schools, 2 schools turned me down, that was UGA and Georgia State. And then I got accepted to Albany State. So I went to Albany State, which is where I met Tania. And while I was in Albany State, things were going well. For me, college was, I knew where I was gonna be sleeping. I knew I was gonna have a meal plan and something to eat every day. So it wasn't because I thought I was oh so smart. College was survival. It was one of those things where it was like, I don't wanna be put in this situation again. I need a little bit more stability, and maybe if I'm gone, my mom can get herself together. So my 4 years away in college, I joined marching band. I got a band scholarship, had academic scholarship because of the Hope. Kept my grades up just enough. Crossed AK, which is where I met Tania. Majored in psychology. And then after that, you know, things were doing better. While I was away in Albany for those 4 years, my mom got her more stable job. She moved into another house. So that was the time for both of us to grow and you know, get a little bit more stable on our own. After I left Albany, I moved back to Georgia and back to Atlanta, where I started working for the Department of Juvenile Justice as a probation officer in DeKalb County. And that for me was my way to reach out to other kids who were in similar situations as myself. So even though I was just a PO, I was a PO who, you know, went above and beyond. If it was you needed some tutorial, if you needed some place to stay, if you and your parents weren't really getting along, hooking you up with mental health services, getting some counseling in the home, getting you a mentor in the community, those were the things that I found that I really liked. So being a PO wasn't as satisfying for me. So I only did the job for about 2 years. And then I was like, I need to do something else. So I went to graduate school in Arlington, Virginia. I lived in DC. And sometimes those were the things where, you know, when you're growing up, those things that your parents and your grandparents try to instill in you about, you know, being persistent and having faith and just stepping out and doing things even though it looks impossible. When I went to graduate school, school was about to start in a week. I was moving to DC. I didn't know where I was going to live at. I didn't know what was going to happen. So I left, and we had a distant cousin who I never met. My mom said